Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the video, it's time to extend. That's right, I'm going to give this in every single video so people know how to do it. So what you want to do, guys, is you want to log into here, click that My Page as a user, go down here to this extend button and click this and get yourself back into the extension mode. That way, guys, you'll get yourself in and you will not be missing out on any codes in the future. As you can see, they're all down here. So this is how you get your codes, guys. You just got to log in, extend that button, and get yourself back in here and get yourself back into the program and don't miss out any codes. Thank you so much for supporting, guys. Continuing supporting. Thank you for extending. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the video. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLA video. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about the brand new blessing stones that have come out. I know a lot of you guys are curious whether the blessing stone meta has changed. So we're going to do some testing. We're going to figure out how this all works, see if there is any new meta and whether these are worth equipping if you do get them. Now, I just want to point out, this is my pay to win account. This is the best way I'm going to be able to do this, just because free to play, obviously we don't have as many resources. And in terms of blessing stones, just so everyone is aware, I do not have the mythic versions. Some of them I don't even have the legendary versions. I will be testing them out with the heroic versions. That's currently what I possess for the most of them. Anything that I have in legendary, I will also show you guys, just so you guys can see how it works, whether it is worth having or not. Now, there are a couple of them here that look incredibly powerful. So we're going to start off with the attack ones, and then we're going to move over to the defensive survival ones. All right, so without further ado, guys, get in here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So what do we do normally for testing? We put everything into perception. We make sure that there are no anomalies for damage. So we can see you got 5,283.9. This is going to essentially ensure that no matter what mobs we fight, the perception will always be pretty much at max, hopefully. At this point, the math is always weird in this game just because the higher the level, we don't know what the perception is, but I'm pretty sure if you max out perception in this case, testing should be okay. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to test each one out. We're going to see if they're worthwhile or not. So we're going to test them compared to other meta blessing stones just to see, you know what, does it work? Yes, as well. Does it work? Does it work properly? Number one. Number two, is it comparable to what's currently out? So I'm going to take some of these blessings and we're going to look at some of these. We'll start with Acrobat first. I think Acrobat's a good start. So you guys can see Acrobat over here is in legendary form. So what does this do? Your movements are as graceful as Acrobat's and reflects your mastery in combat. When you enter a stage, you gain 10 instances of Acrobat. So your attack increases by 3%. When you're hit, this effect is removed. You start off with infinite stacks, stacking up to 10 times. So this is going to give us a 30% increase to our attack. So if you compare it to other ones that are currently out there, this one, in my opinion, doesn't work that well. And here's the reason why. I'm going to give you my reasoning behind it. So number one, yes, even if you have a shield, you will lose these effects. Okay, so it's going to happen, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. Okay, so when you're hit, this effect is removed. Cooldown is 5 seconds, so it is every 5 seconds. If you do get hit, you'll get it removed, even with the shield. The duration is infinite, stacks up to 10 times, right? But the thing that bothers me about this one is you have things like mana rampage here, which yes, only gives you 20% at the mythic section, but it does increase the consumption of your skills, but it does also provide you a flat percentage of attack where you don't have to lose it. So it may not start off as strong, but eventually in a longer fight, this may be the better option. But again, we're going to look through this and we're going to see if this in fact is going to be useful. Don't forget, you also have yourself double-edged sword. When Juno hits an attack or his attack stat increases by 4.5%, and this can also stack 4 times. So keep that in mind. That's also available as another counter option. So is Acrobat any better? Well, I mean, let's go take a look and see how this is going to work, right? So the best thing to usually do here that I like to do is you want to get a one-hit weapon that will do the trick. Realistically, we can even go with the main hit from the staff. The staff would work really well with the charge. So there's a couple different options. We used to use Westwind back in the day, so we continue using Westwind here as well too, if you guys want to continue with the same process. And I mean, what we'll do here is we'll do Westwind here, and then I'll put something else on here that doesn't really matter. So we'll equip that one. Westwind is easy one hit shot, and then over here you guys can put in, put in the golem weapon, right? I mean, it doesn't affect anything. It's pretty straightforward. So we'll do that right there. So double weapons, we got ourselves this right here. So, but I think this is the best way to show you guys at least how the numbers work. So you guys, number one, can see down there, 10 stacks of Acrobat, okay? Didn't get hit, no issues, right? Now, let's see, we're gonna test a couple things out. If I get hit here, does it get removed? Let's find out. All right, there's 9. Okay, good. So we know that works. All right, we're gonna retry. I wanna try one more thing. Do you get hurt if you take dot damage? I'm gonna stand in this. Yes, you do get hurt with dot damage, okay? And it's every 5 seconds. Keep that in mind. So dot damage does apply. Keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick west wind shot at 10 stacks. And then we're going to test it to see if it matters. Bam. This is beautiful because you can do it this way. All right, now let's go retry. We're going to jump in again. And we're going to get hit a few times. We're going to take a few hits, okay? With 99% precision, guys, this should be always pretty much the same number. But I want to reduce this 8 stack or 10 stacks to about, let's say 5. Sorry, guys, that wasn't intentional, to be honest. All right, now let's take a look. 5 stacks. 4, 3, 2, 8, 3, 6. So 4, 3, 2, 5 stacks. 4, 3, 2, 8, 3, 6. Okay, now let's go down to 0 stack. There it is. Okay, now 3, 6, 1, 0, 7, 5. All right, so pretty good numbers. Pretty good numbers. Now let's do a quick comparison again to another blessing stone. Okay, so Mana Rampage, the biggest issue with Mana Rampage, of course, is the fact that it does take away MP from your skill use, but we're gonna at least be able to get some numbers here for you. Okay, so first amount. So as I mentioned originally, the first amount with Mana Rampage comparison, and this is Mythic, you guys can see the number is 446818. Right now, it doesn't, like I said to you guys before, it doesn't compare to 10 stacks of Acrobat. So 10 stacks of Acrobat, of course, are going to be much better, right? And I think that's a pretty obvious statement to make because that's how it works. Now, the only thing that's going to make a difference here is consistency, right? As long as we, like the thing with Mana Rampage is there's no need to get hit and you don't lose any stacks. That 20% of attack will always maintain, right? So let's just see here again, just to prove the point here. Stay out of the range. Do another shot, right? You guys can see 1217937. I believe that one was a crit that time. That's why we got that number. But if we look here, there, let's do a non-crit one. Let's just retry. We'll do a non-crit one, guys. I think non-crit makes more sense in this case. But you guys can see here from a number perspective, Mana Rampage overall will probably give you more consistency if you can avoid. There it is, another one. So 445, 556, right? Again, very close. 556. So again, if you look at this, the numbers are going to be very close together throughout the entire battle. So the consistency will be key with Mana Rampage, while with Acrobat, you're going to start off really, really strong from the start. And as long as you can avoid getting hit, you're going to do a lot better overall. So Acrobat may be a really, really good thing to have for a place where you can avoid taking damage. If you can avoid taking damage, guys, it's going to overall be a better source of damage for you in regards to most content. But again, the caveat is you avoid damage. And I'm not talking about by shields, because like we said before, shields will not affect this. So there you guys go. Very, very good blessing stone. I think we're gonna have to do a lot more testing on this one. All right, folks, next up we are going to be testing another one that is an offensive one, and that is going to be Finisher. Now Finisher here, Finisher Touch specifically, if all your equipped weapons are the same element, the damage of your weapon skills increase by 45%. And in team fight mode, which we're currently in, if all your equipped weapons are the same, your damage of your weapon skills will increase by 20%. So we're going to try this one out first. It is the same element, you guys can see right there, and then we'll take it off and see how it looks without it. Okay, so first off, a couple things to note here about any of these blessing stones. First, I want to point out that you are going to have diminishing returns based on your equipment. Okay, you guys can see right away 533170. Already doing better. Already doing better. So Finisher Touch, Heroic, already starting off better than Acrobat. All right, so this is 20% more damage on weapon skills. Okay, so that's 20% more damage. Heroic. I almost wrote herpes. That's crazy. 533170. So you guys can see right away we're starting off a lot better with this Finisher Touch at Heroic than Acrobat at Legendary. That's a pretty big deal, guys. That's a pretty big deal. So let's go ahead and put this back in. And we already have a baseline. The good thing is the baseline is we know that this is going to work every time. So you guys can see that number is going to be fairly consistent. Here's what we're going to compare it to. Let's compare it to something like Boss Slayer. Later on, Boss Slayer here gives you 29%. Okay, so we should see technically more damage come through with this. Now, let's see if the maths. Okay. Trying to stay away, but also forget how tall this dude is. All right, so 454678. Why? Why is that happening? Right? Why is that happening? So we're going to check again. In Mythic, 450-814. So I'm going to go ahead and put versus question mark. So interesting. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take this little test for a second and we're going to toss it in somewhere else that we can test both of these two different things out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. Boss layer. Gonna go and try boss layer real quick, guys. We're gonna see how the numbers look, and then we're gonna compare it to, again, finisher touch, a team battle. So, okay, so you guys can see that was 358, I believe. Okay, let's try again. We'll go back and try one more shot. We're gonna go 1, 2, just get away a little bit here. 358,977. So, all right, so 300. So yeah, 350. All right, let's go take this off now. The heroic version of this, when it's not a team battle, is actually more. So let's go and see what this looks like. Hold on, let me go back. This bad boy over with this bad boy. This should be 45% this time instead, because we are now fighting a boss, not in team battle. We're fighting a regular boss, right? So this right here should technically do a little bit more than the one that Guild Boss did. So let's see what this looks like, guys. And I apologize for my voice. I still am sick, so 383,960. Damn, son. Oh man. Versus finisher touch heroic. Oh god. Okay, I mean, this makes sense though at 45%, right? Equals 383K. So right away, your heroic version of finisher touch is actually better than your mythical version of boss layer. And with no downside, except for the fact that you have to have two of the same elemental weapons equipped, which for the most part, we usually do, guys. So quite honestly, there it is again, 385. So there it is again, right? 385. We'll just bump it up to 385 because that was a higher number. We did the same thing up here. So you guys can see there is a big difference there between the two of them, just so you guys can see the numbers right there. It's a fairly big comparison, right? So, safe enough to say finisher touch is fantastic. So definitely probably the best of them. Now remember, guys, the more of the damage increase you add onto your account, the more you have on your character, the more equipment you wear that are similar to that, the more characters use or equipment you use that are similar to it. There's always diminishing return, but that also will apply to boss there as well too, right? So keep that in mind. So nonetheless, you're going to get that. So, all right, guys. So all in all, what do we think about these brand new blessing stones? So there are some limitations here that I want to talk about that clearly weren't addressed overall, right? So number one, diminishing return. That's a major factor in this game. Anytime you have anything that increases damage or attack, and if you have a ton of that stat already, diminishing return will always take into effect. A couple other limitations here. Finisher touch only affects weapon skills. Right? Weapon skills. It does not affect core damage, does not affect actual Jinnu skills. It's just your weapon skills. While Boss Slayer, on the other hand, even though it did less damage with the weapon skills, will do more overall damage, probably because it affects your overall damage, including core attacks, basic attacks, and your elemental skills or your regular skills and ultimates, right? So you got to keep that in mind. This will be very good. And again, in places where weapon skills are going to be the primary source of damage, but not overall, where the primary source of damage is going to be your skills. And right now, Jinnu's skills are overpowered in comparison to his weapon skills. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, in terms of Acrobat, like I mentioned before, it is going to start off a lot stronger because of the stacks that you have right from the get-go, but it will start to have its diminishing returns, and you need to keep that in mind. So if you are going to do things like BOT and stuff, I think this is going to be great. But any longer content or content where your dodge is not always available, or the boss has a lot of AoE and it's unavoidable damage, this is going to become fairly useless fairly quickly. So you want to make sure that you have something else to replace it that is more consistent throughout. So there you guys go. I think these are both great. They're meta defining? Absolutely not. They're a little bit more niche, but there's ways to use them, I'm sure, and we'll find more ways through other testings. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about these. Take care.